Okay, boys and girls, so on Wednesday I forgot to do transitions. My bad. So we're going to do those today too. In your, nope, I keep going to that on accident. Okay, in your digital notebook, I want you to go down to the transitions and we are going to define it. So a transition is, we're going to type words and phrases used by writers to show that time is passing. Okay, we're going to scooch that over because we want to be able to see it. Okay, so you'll notice down below that there are examples of those such things. So you might say, later that day, Sally went to the park. The next morning, she brushed her teeth. You might say, that night they had a bonfire. In any story, there is typically characters and time is going by. And in order to be a good writer, you need to let your reader know how much time has gone by without being boring about it. So a lot of you like to say, and then, and then, and then, or next, or after. This is, using these examples in here is a nice way for your reader to really understand how much time is passing within your story. There are other examples, like you could say suddenly, or after the fact, or I don't know, down there I like that one, days passed, hours passed, minutes passed. You just need to tell your reader before you start a new part of your story how much time has gone by. You don't want to do it too often. It's just mostly when there is a little skip in time is when you want to make sure your reader knows that. So back in your transitions, I want you to use one of these. Nope, I'm kidding. Yeah, one of these and turn it into a sentence. So I might say, she, I need to capitalize that, she, nope, seconds later, she was handed her quiz and found out she got a B. That would be capitalized. Okay, you could say something like that. Just make sure you put the transition in a sentence. We will be looking for transitions in your narrative writing pieces. So at the end of our narrative unit, you will be writing a narrative story, and we will be expecting you to use transitions within that story. Make sure that it's that your reader is able to follow along. Okay, so that's transitions, but the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is figurative language. Now, we are going to dive into more figurative language in a couple weeks, probably down the road. But I wanted to touch on a couple of these because having good figurative language within a story really makes a story that much better. So we're going to start off with the simple ones. We're going to start off with metaphors and similes. So if you scroll down, a metaphor, I wanted to go counterclockwise. Okay, a metaphor is a comparison, and it means that, oh, hang on one second. it compares two things using the words like or as. Oh, nope, just kidding. Is or are. Okay. Is, are, or has. They use a weird example. So this example in here is he has a heart of stone. He doesn't really have a heart of stone because that would mean that his heart would not be beating. But what that really means is that he is a very tough person who doesn't show emotion very often. Or, yeah, he in this case. So another example, and I want you to write it in your digital notebook, is her smile is the sun. So in reality, her smile, smiles, okay. Having a rough time here right now. Okay, her smile is that looks like sand. I cannot leave that. The sun. Okay, so her smile is not technically the sun, but what it means is that her smile is really bright and happy, so the author is saying it is the sun. A metaphor is kind of tricky to use because you're comparing it to something and you're saying it is a mess. So I might say my bedroom is a war zone because of the clothes everywhere. So it's not really a war zone. I'm trying to emphasize that it's very messy. You're going to use metaphors to emphasize or to highlight something, to make someone compare it to something else to get a bigger picture. All right, and then similes are also a comparing tool, but you're going to use like or as. So down here, I'm going to throw it backwards. As fast as a cheetah, or as silly as a clown. You're not saying that guy is a clown. You're saying he is as funny as a clown. It's a little bit different from a metaphor because you're not saying that person is. You're just comparing it using like or as. Then that is a simile. So another example that you can put in here is for simile, and I'm going to type because writing did not go well for me last time. He is as fast as a rabbit. Okay, so you're comparing the boy or the man to the rabbit using as. So in your narratives, on your final narrative, we are going to be expecting you to use some sort of figurative language. We've gone over similes or metaphors, but if you want to, you can take the time in your digital notebook to look at all the different kinds of figurative language. So one fun one that people really like to use is onomatopoeia, or kids like to use, because it is fun to do. It's bang, pow, pop, swoosh. So you would put sound effects. It's when something sounds like the noise that it makes. So, or the word sounds like the noise that it makes. So if you're writing a story about a basketball player, you might use swoosh, the ball went into the net. That's onomatopoeia. Hyperbole is exaggerating. So you guys are really good exaggerators. And what that means is, like, for example, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. You're not actually going to eat a horse, but your reader knows just how hungry you are. We've got personification, which is giving non-human things human qualities. So, for example, flowers cannot beg. But the writer might say the flowers begged for water because the writer wants the reader to understand how thirsty those flowers probably are. Even though flowers can't be thirsty, they still need water. Okay, so I'm not going to go over all of these. You can look over them. You can research them if you want to. We will go over all of them during our figurative language unit, but I did want to point out that good writers writing a narrative typically use quality figurative language. So, yeah, if you have any questions about that, go ahead and ask your teacher. Otherwise, make sure you've got some examples in here. And that is it for today.